All right. So go ahead and take the knees wide, big toes touch. Bring the forehead down. On a bolster if you would like, or a block under the forehead if that would feel sweet. And as you settle in, start to, with your mind's eye, swim around the body a bit. So notice what's connected to the mat. What does that feel like? You start to move up into the hips and low back, like what kind of sensations are there? Do you feel a sense of release? And you start to come up the back and notice, through the heart, can you melt it towards the mat a little bit more? And as the arms reach overhead and the forehead on the mat, like, can you just soften in and let what's underneath you support you? And go ahead and start to bring yourself up, kind of seated position. So if you want to bring a little pillow or blanket under the sit bones, you're welcome to. And then find what that comfortable seat is for you. And then get nice and tall. So as you reach up, creating length in the spine, go ahead and close the eyes and let the chin drop in towards your chest. And we'll just do a couple of these little neck rolls. So letting your right ear start to come towards the right shoulder, and then just nice and slow, starting to let the head start to drop back as you start to come around now to the left side. Left ear finds its way towards the left shoulder, and then letting your chin drop down towards your chest, and then slowly back to center. And let's take 3 more of those, just nice and slow, going towards the right. With this last one, when you come through center, let yourself stop for a breath. And then we'll go now the opposite direction. So Starting to let the left ear come up by the left shoulder. Head drop back. Slowly moving over towards the right. And then back through center. And then once again, 3 more of those, moving now through the left. When you find yourself back at center, just letting the eyes flutter open, keeping your length in the spine. Take the right hand, reach over the head, so you're reaching just on top of the left ear, just above that. Let your left shoulders stay nice and heavy, and like I even slid my hand under my thigh just to kind of keep from going along with it. And just gently bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. So this just brings length in through the upper shoulder, these muscles, levator scap and upper trap and scalenes. Joanna and I were talking about before we started, like, what did we need to work on? And she was sweet and asked me, what did I need? Because I've been working on my paper, and well, apparently neck and shoulders is what I need, Joanne. And then nice and slow as you come out, you're going to press the head into the hand and the hand back, so that little active space coming back to center, and that activation helps to treat the muscle as well. All right, and then the other side. So if that works for you, sitting on your hand, like just kind of works for me. Bring your right hand under the right thigh or sit bone, and then the left hand comes up just around the ear. Get nice and tall, and then again, slowly dropping left ear over towards the left shoulder as you hold that length support with a little weight with the left hand. And then notice, like I noticed on the other side, if you start to like lean off into the left, bring yourself back to center so that it's just the head that's moving, so that you lengthen the muscles through your neck and the top of the shoulder. face is really relaxed. And then again, as we come out, that little pressure, head into hand, bringing yourself back to center. And release. And then bring the arms out wide. We're gonna wrap into eagle arms. Take the right arm under the left and elbows up to shoulder height. Forearms away from the face so you feel the broadening across the back. And then either gaze, straight forward through the forearms, or just let the eyes close as you bring your awareness into the back body, across the shoulders, feeling the broadening of the muscles there, that little stretch. And then draw the elbows in and down. So you're going to feel now how this will transfer more across the top of the shoulders and maybe even into the top of the left arm. You'll feel it in the deltoid. And then bringing the elbows up now, do circles. So just drawing with the elbows, bringing a little movement into the muscle to help aid with that. And so going clockwise, maybe 1 or 2 more times. And then switch, go the opposite direction of which you were going. For me, that's counterclockwise now. And then go ahead and release. You can take the arms out, maybe a little wiggle around. And then we're gonna switch it up now, coming to the other side. So left arm will come under right and bring the elbows up, shoulder height, forearms away from the face. And then as you settle in, you can either soft gaze through the forearms or let the eyes close and just allow yourself to move into where the sensations are in your body and just paying attention to what they feel like. Notice as they start to soften as we're here for a bit, just that connection back in with how our body operates and how we perceive that. It makes us a little smarter as we move forward and noticing in our days where we hold repetitive stress patterns, and then maybe we can start to get curious about what that is. Like, why do we do it? What shows up that creates that? now bringing the elbows in and down so that you can feel how this shifts now across the top of the shoulder and maybe into the right deltoid a little bit. And then now bringing the elbows up, drawing your circles again. So I'm going clockwise. Just try to let just the arms move, so trying not to let your body sway with the movement. Maybe one or two more times in this direction, and then when you come to the top, pause, and now go opposite for me, counterclockwise. And then go ahead and release, a little shrug around. And then take the arms up, reach them up. We're gonna twist now over to the left, right hand on top of the left knee, left hand behind. And the left arm just really supports to keep the spine nice and tall. As you start to twist, gaze over the left shoulder. And then bring yourself back through center. Go ahead, reach the arms up, twisting over to the right. Left hand's gonna catch the right knee, right hand behind so that you can use the arm to help direct yourself nice and tall. And twisting, gazing now over your right shoulder. ahead and bring yourself back through center. Bring the hands onto the knees. We'll take a few seated cat-cows. On an inhale, send the heart through, let the gaze come up. And then on the exhale, rounding through the back, gaze comes in towards the navel. And rocking yourself back through as you fill up. And then rounding as you exhale. And just a few more of these with your breath. And then one more round. And then landing in center. Go ahead and unwrap the legs if you haven't moved them around already. And then grab either a couple of blocks in a bolster or a block in a bolster. So depending on what you need, sometimes if you need more support, creating a little ramp with your bolster. So you're gonna fold the right leg in, left leg long. You can, create this little ramp to come forward on if the hamstrings are real restricted. If you don't need all of that, and maybe you just want, a block to rest the forehead on as Grace finds a new spot on the floor. Let yourself come forward, resting on, whatever you chose. The arms relax. Make sure your sit bones are plugged in. And then once again, as you come into it, just noticing where the sensations are, how strong they are in certain spots, and as you hang out with breath, can you notice how they start to release a bit? They start to soften and allow you to find some length in your body. And then slowly bringing yourself up. Move over to the other side. So you're going to fold the left leg in, right leg is going to come nice and long. Moving props over. Once again, if you need more or less from side to side, go ahead and welcome that in. And then as you're ready, start to fold over your right thigh. All right, go ahead and bring yourself up. And then lastly in this little sequence, come into a mild straddle. So you're gonna let your legs come out long, and then again, you can create that little ramp if you would like with the blocks to bring your bolster on to come forward. If you need a little bit more, maybe it's just a block out in front of you to come forward and rest your head on. And any height that seems to make sense today. Just letting yourself drop in. Keep your knees soft. Try not to drive them into the mat. So you're going to keep the knees a little soft as you fold forward. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. So we're going to move into half pigeon from here. So bringing your left shin to the top of the mat, let the right leg come along behind. You may choose to bring stuff under the left hip, right? Like bring a block or a pillow if you need that little elevation. And then maybe, you know, a block out in front of you for your forehead if coming forward feels like a bit much. You know, you can always use a block or a pillow or a bolster just to support so that you're not folding in quite as deep if that's too much in your body today. And then as you come forward, you're nice and long through the right leg. You can feel the top of the foot as it presses into the mat. And then once you find the right amount of props that you need, let yourself just really drop in. Again, exploring those little spots where the sensation is strongest. into long arms. We'll come into the right quad just a little bit before we move on. So give a bend to the right knee, reach back, catch hold of the foot. And if catching hold of the foot with your hand is not available, grab hold of a strap or even a blanket or a towel and wrap it around the foot and catch the edges. And then you're just drawing the right foot in, trying to keep your right hip turned down so that you get this across the top of your right quad. And then gently releasing the right foot behind, maybe stepping back to a down dog in between sides so you can do a little pedal into the legs. And then coming over now to the right, so bringing your right shin to the top, left leg long behind, add in any additional props again that you may need. And then as you're ready, let yourself start to fold forward. And then again, for the last little bit on this side, giving a bend to the left leg, reaching back with your left hand, catching hold of the foot, drawing in, maybe using a strap or a towel if it's not accessible, using your hand. Keep turning the left hip down so you feel this across the top of your right quad. Left quad, not right. And then go ahead and release. We'll step back into one last little down dog before we move into Shavasana. So as you step into it, maybe that little pedal around again to see how the body is evened out through both sides and maybe even through this practice. And when it feels right, go ahead and bring the legs on through. You can grab a bolster or a blanket if you would like. Bring it under the knees and you start to lie back. Yourself start to soften in to the mat and just finding your final rest. A spot where you can decompress from whatever the practice brought and just let yourself really settle into some renewed energy and renewed space in your body. Start to deepen your breath, welcoming a little movement back into your fingers and into your toes. Let the arms reach long overhead and legs long out in front of you, just welcoming some length back in. And then when it feels right, letting your knees find their way in towards your heart and onto your side body. With your eyes closed, bringing yourself up to a seated position, hands resting at heart center. Draw a nice full breath in. And a full exhale. Full breath in. And a full exhale. Inhale, draw your thumb knuckles up to your forehead, elbows wide, huge smile on your face and light in your heart. Inhale. And exhale, bow forward. Namaste.